darkness. That's the first thing that I remember. It was dark, and it was cold, and I was scared. But then I saw the moon. It was so big, and it was so bright. It seemed to chase the darkness away. And when it did, I wasn't scared anymore. While I was there and what I was meant to do, that part I never known. And part of me ever wonders if I ever will. My name is Jack Frost. And how do I know that? Because the moon told me so. And that's all he ever told me. But that was a long, long time ago. Cue music!
And when the moon tells you stuff, you believe.
Technically, I'm just gonna get this out. This is an Easter movie and not a Christmas movie, so I think that maybe we should have done this for Easter.
I'm just gonna get this out. I think it's both.
Stardust actually chose this movie as their cinema club. Yes.
Also, look at the evidence. Of course, the movie does take place around Easter time, but it's really a celebration of all of the holidays. And we go to the North Pole, so Santa's the main character, and there's snow everywhere. I'm just saying, it can be Christmassy.
I suppose.
The Guardians. You know how long I've been waiting to talk about this movie, and how long I've been waiting for Cinema Club for Stardust to choose this movie. This movie, I freaking love this movie. I'm about to crush this disc in this thing. I better put it down before I crush it.
This is why I always have my movies digital, because I don't want to crush my DVDs. But
a common problem for Neil Burris. Honestly, the only DVD I vividly remember destroying is Daphne and Velma, that movie about the Scooby-Doo girls.
What? I never even heard of that.
Isn't Audrey from Descendants in that?
She is, but I annihilated that DVD. I destroyed the case. I hit it with a hammer a couple times.
It was that bad.
I did not like that movie.
It was that bad. I've never seen
it. It's not a good film.
Well, anyways, we're here to talk about a good film. Well, at least in my opinion, it's a good film.
I think it's a good movie too.
A lot of people do enjoy it. Even though a lot of people do love this film, this was the biggest bomb that DreamWorks has ever had. The biggest bomb. They had so many other bombs before. This is their Treasure Planet. And that Treasure Planet, I love that movie. It's one of my favorite Disney movies. But Rise of the Guardians, it's a great movie, but so many people don't understand. You people don't know talent. No talent. No talent.
Seriously, how the heck does Alec Baldwin go from a badass Russian Santa Claus to a freaking boss baby?
I don't know. What the? I don't know.
Oh, I should also note that he is also a Elvis-haired Scar Lion in Madagascar 2.
Yeah. He had three. You know how basically, if you're ever in a DreamWorks movie, you always have to be in another one. They always call you back, but not for every actor, but a lot of actors do have recurring roles, like Brad Pitt, or Brad Pitt, he was in Sinbad, and then he was in Megamind, which I love too. Yeah, I've always been a DreamWorks kid. Therese is a Disney kid. Well, I grew up with both Disney, but I grew up with the Disney, not of the Renaissance, but with the early 2000s Disney. But I just mainly been, those ones I love the most, and I think that they're honestly better than the Renaissance film, except for Mulan. That one I love the most. So I'm gonna.
Yeah. During that time, DreamWorks, of course, was on the rise, and of course, they made Rise of the Guardians, and received quite a respectful following, if I'm not mistaken.
Yes, I can't wait to talk about
this. So many girls, including Charisse, loves Jack Frost for some reason.
Chris Pine is hot.
Seriously,
he's sexy. First of all, Chris Pine, yes, hot. I agree.
So, yes, Rise of the Guardians is a 2012 animated film directed by Peter Ramsey. It is based off of the Guardians of Childhood book series written by William Joyce If you recognize that name, it's because he also did another book that got turned into a movie. You guys remember Blue Sky's Epic?
Oh yeah, I remember that.
That was based off of a book that he wrote.
Oh
And
yeah,
then
and
does anyone
it's one of the movies
remember?
that I've owned. I buy these one of the many movies that I bought as a child, but I never rewatched as an adult.
Yeah.
And then does anyone else remember that Disney Junior or Playhouse Disney show called Roly Poly Oly?
No, but I think I had no wait. I had a restaurant in my hometown called Roly Poly.
Oh, that is no connection to this.
Well, yeah, so pretty much William Joyce did a lot of those, you know. I think he was also part of Meet the Robinsons.
Was he? What part did he play in that?
No, he was no, because he's the author, but like some of like the visual stuff in like Meet the Robinsons and Rise of the Guardians and Epic and Roly Poly Oly, it's pretty. You could kind of William Joyce kind of has like this kind of distinct. I don't want to say art style, but like it's kind of hard to explain.
Roly Poly Oly was weird, dog. Like looking back on it,
Poly Oly,
I loved it too. But looking back on it, it was weird.
Early CGI, and it's using it to depict like a family of robots. Yeah.
Yeah, I think like he's pretty much like, you know, robots and kind of like weird, you know, visuals and stuff, but it's really pretty creative.
Hey, up high in the roly poly sky.
I had no idea what you guys are talking about.
Roly poly, get with the gang.
So anyways, like what you know, Brooks and I know Squid Jedi, hello. Like what Brooks and Calum and everyone else was saying, Rise of the Guardians, and I blame DreamWorks for this. They did not advertise this movie very well.
And that's why it bombed.
That's why it bombed. Okay, so because I remember this, I was 12 years old when this movie came out. I was watching It's a SpongeBob Christmas from Nickelodeon. You know, the claymation one. There was a commercial.
I got a stocking full of coal.
There was a commercial with Rise of the Guardians, and I think the commercial was a little bit misleading because it was like, who's gonna say Christmas? The Easter Bunny, Santa Claus, or the Tooth Fairy? It kind of was a little bit misleading, in my opinion, based off of what I remember. And again,
it does make sense to advertise it like that because even though it is a movie about Easter, it did release around Christmas. So they were trying to get people to be like, oh, a Christmas movie.
November 21st, 2012. And I think also around the time the very first Wreck-It Ralph movie released, about like 2 or 3 weeks earlier, and you can probably guess which one kids wanted to see more.
Yeah, but you know, honestly, but I when I was 10, I only saw this like a year after it came out, and I saw it on I rented it, but I didn't see it in theaters. But it's just that Wreck-It Ralph, it's also one of the modern Disney films that I do love. But I honestly, which one would you think is better, Rise of the Guardians or Wreck-It Ralph?
I mean, I like both, but if I want to rewatch something over and over again, I'm going to be a little biased and say Rise of the Guardians.
I will speak up and say my experience with seeing this movie, because I think it's a little special. I was actually like, this is the first movie I ever saw by myself. Like, I went to a movie theater, and this is the first one I ever saw without my parents there, without my mom or my grandparents. And the movie theater was empty. Like, there may have been a couple people there, but it was completely empty for the most part. And I got to experience this by myself on a huge screen, and it was delightful. I love this movie. Like, I don't watch it every year. I'm not going to pretend I do, but I do consider it like a holiday classic. It's really good. And, like, hopefully we'll talk about why today. Calum, do you have a first experience with this movie?
It's nowhere near as fancy as all the others mentioned so far, but I have fond memories getting on the DVD and enjoying it like I would any other a great DreamWorks film. I wouldn't rate this as the absolute best DreamWorks film, but Sherry would obviously say otherwise. But I'd still would say it's probably one of their better movies. Looking at their whole roster of films that they managed to make over the
DreamWorks
years.
is always underrated. They're always it's Disney, the giant megalo corporation that's always the popular one. And DreamWorks might be like can do mediocre stuff or like might do, but when they do something great, when they put their mind to it, when they do something,
they can make the Puss in Boots movie, and of course,
like that. Or like when they do something,
the magnum
How to Train
opus.
Your Dragon, Shrek 2, The Prince of
Puss
Egypt,
in Boots. You can stop there. DreamWorks should have closed after Puss in Boots. That's it. That's their magnum opus.
Wait. Wait, 2000. That was before Rise of the Guardians. So you're saying that they should stop before they do Rise of the Guardians?
Did Puss in Boots come out before Rise of the Guardians?
2011. Yeah, Puss in Boots came out a year before Rise of the Guardians in 2011.
Yeah.
That happened, and this video.
I think I remember.
I mean, if I'm being honest and not just making fun of like Puss in Boots, I do think Rise of the Guardians, like either Rise of the Guardians or the original How to Train Your Dragon, is probably the best thing DreamWorks has ever put out. Like,
besides the Prince of
better than
Egypt,
Shrek.
The Prince of
Even better than Shrek franchise, and
I love Shrek 2. Yeah. Shrek 2 will go down as one of my favorite musicals. I said. Movies ever. The problem with Shrek 1 is that the musical is just better. So because of that, like I don't necessarily love Shrek 1 anymore because they did it again and did it better.
We're not gonna review the entire. Well, I mean, we're not gonna go like scene for scene. Right, we're not gonna do like scene for scene. We're just gonna give you like a synopsis. So, pretty much the movie is about a young spirit named Jack Frost, voiced by Chris Pine. He has amnesia. He is alone in the world. No kids can see him. No one believes him. And then Pitch Black, who is voiced by Jude Law, which I love Jude Law. I love my Brits, man. My Brits are yes. Anyway, so Pitch Black is yes. Pitch Black is the boogeyman, and he basically wants to plunge the entire world into darkness and have all the kids believe in him, and don't have the guardians cease to exist. So North, voiced by Alec Baldwin, assembles the other guardians. Toothiana, also known as the Tooth Fairy, voiced by Isla Fisher, and Hugh Jackman is the Easter Bunny. And Sandman doesn't have any voice actor. He's just
He's like Gromit. He's like Gromit from Wallace and Gromit.
Or Charlie Chaplin, you know the type.
Well, he's just a silent character. It happens. But continue, Share.
So, yeah, pretty much all the Guardians are assembled.
Avengers assemble!
Avengers, which, funny enough, both the first Avengers movie and Rise of the Guardians both came out the same year. Yeah, in 2012. But anyways, pretty much, I guess their main leader, the Man in the Moon, which also has no voice.
Well, I think he might be God or something. Maybe a version of God.
He's not God.
But like Man in Moon chooses Jack.
He's the DreamWorks God. He could be the DreamWorks God.
Let the woman talk.
Yes, the guy in the room with the fishing rod. Yeah,
let the woman talk.
So anyways, pretty much all the Guardians are assembled. They fear that if they don't stop Pitch Black, all the kids are going to stop believing in them and they're going to cease to exist. So Man in Moon chooses Jack Frost to become a Guardian, which at first he doesn't want to become a Guardian, but he learns overall what his center, because that's pretty much what he needs. He has his center. And yes, with the Russian nesting dolls. Oh, thank you, Calum. That's so sweet. And he pretty much helps the other Guardians defeat Pitch Black. And he becomes a Guardian at the end. So that's pretty much what the movie's all about.
I have one question.
Well, Sherry, you got to remember the moral of the story that's said at the very end is the last dialogue of the film, which is, I'm Jack Frost, I'm a Guardian.
It's corny, but
I'm a Guardian because the moon told me so, and we have to listen to the moon. That's the real moral of the story.
So does that mean the moon tells us to form a coup against our governments and then take over? Would we do that?
If the moon says kill your family, well, I guess that's just what the moon said.
I know that's horrible. But guess what? I have one question. One question. Wait, if the other Guardians would cease to exist if the children would not remember them, then why didn't Jack Frost cease to exist? Because no one remembered him at all.
No, that's a different case because Jack Frost was already invisible before he became a Guardian.
Wait a minute.
Wait, wasn't the moon chosen to be the Guardian in the first place?
Not yet. He just pretty much risen him from the dead because he drowned. Sorry.
I think the moon set him up to become a Guardian. Like maybe that's why he saved him.
Well,
but...
and the Guardians were already around Jack's time. So wait.
Yeah, confirmed. Santa knows Jack. Santa mentioned, like, he saw the picture of Jack Frost and he's like, oh, Jack Frost. So Santa already...
even when, Jack Frost arrives at the North Pole, he's like, oh, and Jack Frost is like, am I on the naughty list? He's like, on naughty list, you hold record.
Hold record.
Also, like, the bunny makes mention when talking to North and them that, like, Jack Frost is constantly sabotaging Easter. So
Easter 67, I think.
They all met. They probably view Jack Frost as he is in like the lore as like a trickster.
Right.
And this story is about him becoming more than that. And I don't know, maybe in like a sequel, Jack would have a holiday of his own.
There is a sequel,
but what would a holiday be? It would definitely be in January. It would definitely be after Christmas.
Well, he could probably share Christmas, honestly.
Have we learned nothing from the Santa Claus 3?
Yes, of course. Santa Claus 3. Again, another magnum opus, but this is Disney's magnum opus.
No, DreamWorks, you mean?
Santa Claus 3 was created by Disney. One would think that High School Musical would be their magnum opus. Kenny Ortega's masterpiece. But unfortunately, or fortunately how you view it, Santa Claus 3 came around and, of course, shattered the minds of everyone.
I saw that in theaters too, but I was scared the shit out of when their parents were frozen, and then the girl was just stuck with her parents being frozen in the closet. That scared the shit out of me as a child.
That's life. Sometimes Jack Frost shows up, freezes your parents, and they're just gone. That's life.
The only reason why I wanted to watch the Santa Claus 3 was because of Martin Short as Jack Frost, because I like Martin Short. I like him. He's funny.
I watched all the other ones.
In relation to what you mentioned about Jack Frost appearing because people believe in him, people had to have heard of Jack Frost at some point. No?
Yeah. It's like a legend, the same as like Santa.
It's like a legend. It's like, oh yeah, I just lost my train of thought. Dang it.
Like Jack doesn't have a holiday, so there's not like a ton of reasons.
Yeah, it's like a figment of their imagination or something like that. I don't know.
You hear the story of Jack Frost.
An expression. There we go. No, because Jamie's mom is like, oh, no one, honey. He's just an expression.
Yeah. It seems like when, like, even in real life, that kind of mirrors what it is, because in real life, you only really hear the story of Jack Frost when you're talking about Christmas and Santa.
Chestnuts roasting. No one just goes,
here's the story of Jack Frost.
Jack Frost.
I've heard two Jack Frosts before, where like Michael Keaton got turned into a snowman, and then this other one where Jack Frost is like this horror monster.
Those are not Jack Frost. Those are killers.
I mean, I've heard of Jack Frost as a kid. I always assumed he was the bad guy, mainly because of that one Frosty the Snowman special, and then Santa Claus 3, and then
and now he's this dreamboat that every girl wants to be with.
And then these series as a kid called Rainbow Magic, where Jack Frost was the villain. And then there was actually a stop motion Jack Frost, I think by Rankin Bass, even though he wasn't the villain, but yeah.
Yeah, he's in some of them. Like, I gotta be real, some of the Frankenbass stuff gets real weird after a while. He does pop up in it.
Yeah, I heard that. I used to watch the Frankenbass and have you ever heard of the Frankenbass Lord of the Rings? Where there's a whip. There's a whip.
Yeah. But and for some reason, I thought the Heat Miser and Snow Miser. I thought Snow Miser was Jack Frost as a kid for some reason, but he's not. I don't think they're related. But anyways, let's talk about
I think a good idea to do this is let's start.
Not just real life girls are into Jack Frost, but even the female characters in the movie have a crush on Jack Frost. Like all of them.
Even female characters in other movies.
I will talk about that other fandom very shortly. I promise you.
I will talk. And they got it better than the one.
Okay. It seems like we're struggling a little with structure.
Yes.
So, here it comes. Let's talk about our opinions of each character, and then we'll talk about the story beats we like. And let us start with who I think one of the best characters in the entire movie is. Let's start with the Easter Bunny.
Hugh Jackman! Yay!
Hugh Jackman plays the Easter Bunny in this.
He can finally use his Australian accents.
Well,
for some reason,
I think in this movie, they play with the Easter Bunny and make him like this badass character with boomerangs. And it's really cool because he also has the funniest lines. Like, the second the man in the moon is like, oh, we need to get another guardian. You just hear Bunny go, please not the groundhog, please not the groundhog. Hilarious to me. There's also plenty of scenes where he has this rivalry with Jack Frost, and I think he has one of the best scenes in the movie where they show you just how important Easter really is. When he's painting the eggs and there's this one girl who snuck into them.
Sophie, Jamie's little sister, Sophie, yes.
It's really cool to see the Easter Bunny in the position of Santa Claus because he's caring for kids. This is his holiday. He is the Santa of Easter. And it's like wonderful to see the Easter Bunny, who was never like the big holiday guy. It's always been Santa.
And also one thing, he's never gotten his actual movie except for that Hop movie. He never got his own movie.
There's Frankenbass stuff with Easter Bunny in it.
We don't talk about that Hop movie with James Marsden. Unless he's in
Or do we talk about with, what is his name again?
Oh yes, that one movie where James Marsden is hanging out with a CGI character. I remember it fondly. Sonic the Hedgehog. I've seen it.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, good movie. Overall, like it. Jim Carrey's great. That's the movie we're talking about, and there isn't another one.
Yeah. And by the way, I want to say one thing. Sonic the Hedgehog is what every CGI animated character that goes in live action should look
Sonic
like.
the Hedgehog is not what we're reviewing, Squid.
I'm just saying that that's relevant.
But yeah, I mean, the Easter Bunny. So there's a scene where it's like, oh, Jack betrayed everybody, and like Bunny literally straight up yells at Jack's, right into Jack's face, and he was like 3 seconds away of punching him. Did anyone else notice that?
I never noticed that.
Yeah. He's like, we should have never trusted you. He was like 3 seconds away of punching him in the face. I was like, oh. And like
one of his white tooths will go out.
And he was just really he looked depressed in that because Bunny's main center, because each guardian has a center. Bunny's center is hope.
Hope, like a hope lantern from, Lantern Corps. Yeah.
Right.
Blue Lanterns.
Blue Lanterns, yes.
That's a reference I get. But I agree with you. Like figuring out like the core of all of the Guardians is really like what the movie's kind of about. Like Tooth Fairy seems to be about like memory. And of course, Sandman's about dreams.
And North is Wonder.
Wonder. Eyes, big eyes.
I'll talk about that scene with North in a minute. But Calum, what did you think about Hugh Jackman, Bunny?
Well, as Brooks mentioned earlier, it's impressive that Hugh Jackman finally gets to speak normally. But apart from that, something I really appreciate about this movie is the creative character designs. I mean, when you think about these, these characters, I've got like pictures like Santa Claus. I mean, and to an extent, they don't really change it all too much, but they make it very unique. This is a sort of a grittier version, but not too gritty. It's just gritty enough.
That Easter Bunny. There is a reference that Easter Bunny has killed people. Like, it's in the freaking movie. He, like, mentions that some people discovered Easter Island or whatever, and he's like, oh, don't worry. They didn't make it off the island.
What? I never even heard that. You made that up.
I am, like, sure I heard that reference. He killed people.
He said he knows Tai Chi. He's 6'1" or 6'4" or something like that when he's going up against, like, Jamie's going.
Back to my own thoughts. So, of course, it just makes sense for this Easter Bunny to have all these attributes that hail from Australia.
He's a puka.
Yeah. When you think of the Easter Bunny, just think of this, cute bunny delivering eggs. But this one is something you'd see out of, okay,
if Australia had bunnies and they decided to mutate them and decided to turn them into super soldiers.
Yeah, something out of Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles or something.
Hugh Jackman just, instead of being a person, was a rabbit. Because let's be honest, that's what he did.
Yeah, because every Guardian was originally a person. So basically, except for the Easter Bunny.
Yeah. How this movie in general makes Easter so important, because it wouldn't have been hard to make the story about Christmas. And it probably would have been like a move that audiences would have been receptive to. But instead, they really focus on Easter. And to one hand, people might not watch it around Christmas because of that. But I think it's cool because it celebrates all of these characters a bit more.
It's kind of like our discussion with, like, Nightmare Before Christmas, where people were debating if it's a Halloween or Christmas movie. Do you want to watch that review?
But
go watch
I have a thing. I watched it around Easter. I watched it this year around Easter. I watched it.
Right.
Okay, my turn to talk about the Easter Bunny.
Yes.
Okay, so one thing I have to say, he'll make a great Pokemon though, and the Easter Bunny is. I already said a lot about how he's basically like the Australians bioengineered like bunnies and then turn them into super soldiers. I really did mean that. And also it is great that Easter Bunny is centered around hope, and that and technically this is Easter, and this is about the Jesus representing hope, and so that's fitting for a bunny to center around what Jesus represents.
Being Easter, that makes sense, and I like how it plays an integral role to his character. Just to see the joy in the children's eyes, especially when Sophie unwillingly sort of tags along for making the eggs, and it brings a lot of joy, and he just feels crushed when the children completely
forget him.
Yeah, forget about him when Pitch Black manages to get his way. And yeah, I feel legitimately sorry for the bunny during that scene. But there's a great revival for him when he transforms back from being
isn't it my turn?
Oh yeah, this like cute little small bunny and this.
Wait, isn't it my turn?
I think him and Jack have like one of the best relationships throughout the entire movie.
Yeah, I do agree. But what about with Santa? What about him and Santa?
I like their relationship.
They have like the little fight between, Easter is important. No, Christmas is important.
They're all both centered around Christ, so they're both equally important.
We talk about Nicholas, also known as Father Christmas, also known as Kris Kringle, also known as Santa Claus.
St. Nicholas Angel. Nicholas Angel.
Yeah, that's actually in the book series. His name is actually Nicholas St. North. Just letting you guys know.
Convoluted.
Yeah, that's actually in the book series. His name is actually Nicholas St. North. Just letting you guys know.
Convoluted.
I loved North in this movie. Admittedly, once you know it, he's Alec Baldwin, you can't stop hearing the Baldwin. But I still think he was great. He's like the first one that talks about his center, really setting up that plot throughout all of the characters. He's the one who discovers Pitch, and he's just a great character. I love the tattoos on his arms. It says naughty and nice.
That must have hurt. That must really hurt. That must really hurt.
He is a man. He can take it.
I mean, I don't remember if he had the tattoos before or after. I think he probably had them after he became, a spirit or like a guardian, probably.
Maybe it's one of like moving tattoos like Maui has in Moana. I mean, a list has to be that long. I mean, that would make sense. Like, okay,
Honestly, I'd love to see a story about how, like if a TV show happened, if we could get an origin story and see
But
how.
I have one thing. I have one
that's
thing.
pretty
I
much-
do not want. I want to have like. I wanted to have a budget that at least is like the How to Train Your Dragon series, and not the budget of Penguins of Madagascar, because the budget of Penguins of Madagascar is not that great.
Heck,
I mean,
I don't mind if it's 2D either. I don't care if it's 3D or
Yeah,
2D.
I'd rather 2D.
This
Yes,
show
try
in
2D.
2D
Just-
looks so pretty.
But as I was trying to explain here, before I got off track, shoot, what the heck were we talking about? Guys, you lost my train of thoughts.
We're talking about Santa.
I know we're talking about Santa, but I was about to say something and then I got interrupted.
I'm sorry. We're so sorry, Sharice. We're so sorry.
Like, shoot, the way that they're portrayed, the way that they're portrayed in the book isn't gonna be like what they are in the actual, movie. And also, each book series goes through the origin of each guardian. The first one was North, the second one was Bunny, the third one was Tooth, the fourth one is Sandy, and then they just recently did Jack Frost.
Wait, so it wasn't originally
still
in the book?
going?
I think they stopped. I think the Jack Frost one was the very last one.
That sucks. I would have loved to see like a Valentine's Day one, or like.
Well, there is.
Wait,
I will say, Mother Nature.
Love, or like the that.
Yeah, Mother Nature and Father Time do exist in the book series.
Oh, that's cool.
That's cool.
So I mean, it would be nice if we ever do get a series or a sequel, if DreamWorks actually cared about this movie like I do. But anyways, if they'll probably, it would be nice to have like those like episodes where they go through like each, character's origin. And there's more characters. There are more characters that are in the book that are not in the movie, like Catherine, Nightlight, this weird monkey bandit dude. It was weird.
Wait. Monkey Bandit. I think you're talking about what Goku was inspired by. I think Journey of the West. I think you're talking about Journey of the West.
Name.
Does he? Wait, let me just look it up.
It's probably a holiday character, right?
No, it's not, because he appeared in Tooth's origin book.
Wait a minute,
Right.
I know what it is. I saw Spider-Man Far From Home. This is Night Monkey.
The Monkey King.
No, it's the
There
Monkey
we go.
King. Yes, that's what I'm
The Monkey
saying.
King.
Yes, the Monkey King.
There we go.
Yes.
I had to look it up. I was like, come on, I know what I'm talking about.
No, I know that's what
So
Goku
wait, the
and
Monkey
Dragon Ball
King
Z
is a
was based
ninja?
off of.
No, like the Monkey King. It's gonna. I'll tell you guys later. Let's just say he's one of the Tooth Fairy's nemesis in the book series. I'll just say it that way.
No, but
I think he killed her parents.
Sharice,
Oh,
I swear. Oh, what the wow?
these books sound metal.
Wait, did they actually like show in front of like that, like right in front of
It's
her?
not a comic book, Brooks.
It's like a chapter book series.
I know it's a book, but I mean, did they like say in the book that she was right in front of them?
I don't know if she was right in front of them. If a monkey kills your parents, it's gonna be traumatic.
I remember reading it in like middle school and the early high school because we had like the library books and I had the books there, but obviously you can't keep them because they're library things. So I don't exactly remember, but like I said, I think the Monkey King killed her parents.
Nice. I like how metal these books sound.
Yeah, I know.
Just today, I think it was just today, I was reacting to this friend of mine from Stardust called Bizarro Guy, and he mentioned that the books get a bit more bizarre. And we were talking in the comments and thinking, wait, it gets more bizarre in the books? How bizarre? He mentions that Jack Frost and the Easter Bunny in the book series, like, come from, like, aliens, like, from the moon, and I was like, what?
Yeah.
What?
Yes, it's kind of a little bit complex.
I gotta read these.
Yeah, you have to read these. These are really good. But anyways, like I said, North, I think he's a pretty badass character. He's a badass Russian Santa Claus with his double swords. Like, plus he has some very funny moments. Like he's like, I feel it in my belly, and I find
That's
it really
his intuition.
funny.
That's his intuition.
He's
And-
very good at like he's very good at like balancing the seriousness and heartfelt nature of Santa, and also throwing in this badass.
Yeah, that's why his center is wonder, because he sees the wonder and everything. Like when you're kids, everything looks so grand and colossal, and just has this little spark.
But as you grow
eyes.
up, you
It's just
see
beautiful.
it crumble and crumble and crumble. Everything gets
And
sour.
Santa
But
wants to
you
share
have
that.
to see the light through it. You have to see the light through it.
Oh yeah, and also, good job, Calum, showing those Russian snowman dolls things, because he has these Russian nesting dolls that goes over his personality and his center, and he explains that to Jack, and I think that part is really good in the movie. I want to know how the others would have worked, with like Tooth and Bunny and Sandy, and we see Jack's little baby little Benny one, but we don't see his actual, other personality. But
Wanda really defined the character well. If I'm to go next with describing Santa Claus, I mean, when I first see Rise of the Guardians, this is almost that's okay, Brooks. That's all right. So with Santa Claus, when I first saw like the trailers for this movie, I was like, whoa, this is like so unlike Santa Claus. I mean, when you think of Santa Claus, usually quite jovial and he's usually
I don't
depicted.
understand. You're supposed to be jolly and happy.
I think
used to be
a
long time ago.
I
used to love children. They loved me, but then got all that hand, and then the population kept growing and growing. They were trying to make an iPod. I have orders for millions of them. Oh yeah, I forgot. And a new version of Quicken.
Stop quoting Family Guy.
I really do like Family Guy.
A Russian accent was the last thing I expected, but the more I looked at this version of Santa, it makes sense. I mean, a Russian Santa, it makes sense for him to wear the clothing that he does, and the dual-bladed swords, and to have.
I know, right? That's why I'm so interested to see this Santa's backstory. He's got swords. He's got tattoos.
I got a theory.
Also kills people.
He has.
Okay, I got a theory. I got a theory. He might have been in the Russian army.
I don't know about that. I think he may have been like a warrior. I do want to see like what this Russian Santa means.
I mean, like, it'll definitely go more into the book series. I think he was very overconfident and cocky as a human, and then he had to help, assemble like the Guardians, and then he realized that, oh, maybe I could be a Guardian too. That's what I remember reading from the book series. So yeah.
So with his Russian culture, the doll metaphor just makes all the more sense. I'm pretty sure they made him. Looking back now, maybe they made him Russian just so they could make that doll metaphor, which is really powerful.
I think you'll probably have to ask to William Joyce about that, because he created the book in the first place. So.
I mean, theoretically, like, Santa just makes toys, so if he just would have had a Russian nesting doll, I wouldn't have really questioned it.
So also throughout the movie, he's something I also really appreciate, which really defines his character, is that he's a big man-child. Earlier, that he takes so much joy in the workshop and taking so much joy in just doing the tasks, even if it's tasks that are almost out of his league, like delivering the teeth. He just finds so much fun from it.
I don't like it painted red.
Red's too Christmassy, mate. Make it blue.
That's probably one of the funniest running gags of the movie was the Yeti trying to paint, and they're like, no, paint it a different color.
It felt like with the elves, they were trying to like do a Minions, but with these Yetis, I legitimately like them. They're like big badasses who struggle.
Yeah, I think some people have problems with the elves because they said the elves were a little bit uncanny. Just a little.
Yeah, they look a little creepy.
And does anyone else notice I don't want to see it's a ripoff, but they kind of did what they did with like Avengers, where that one elf like punches the other elf. Did anyone else?
Yeah, no, I see it.
That was kind of funny.
You should sue someone.
Since these came out the same year, it's possible that that's just a coincidence, but it is a big coincidence.
No. DreamWorks has been the master of plagiarism for years. They
get out of here with your conspiracy! Get out of here!
So, anyways, do you guys want to talk about the Tooth Fairy? Because I think, yeah.
That elf is playing Gallagher.
Wait, I never never talked about Santa. I never got to talk about Santa.
Yes, you go talk about Santa.
About Santa. You quoted Family Guy.
Wait.
I think, okay, I think we should probably keep it a minimum, just like kind of together, guys. Okay.
Okay, fair enough.
We're together. Okay, Brooks, go. You got 30 seconds. Go.
Okay, so I get to see the wonder that Santa brings to the world, and it's just, his imagination. He brings that to children. He brings what he creates to children, and he is really innovative with his stuff, and that he wants innovation throughout the world. And that's what one of the greatest things about wonder in colorfulness and is innovation and imagination. And honestly, it's one of the best things of being a guardian, or best things of colorfulness.
It's no wonder he's the leader in that case.
I bet we will.
Yeah, I think he's a great choice for the leader. He's really good. I think he also brings a bit of wonder to his team, honestly.
I mean, that's why his center is wonder for a reason.
Yeah, and he's great at it. Wonder is such a fitting thing to give Santa. But with that, let's move on to the Tooth Fairy.
Yes, the Tooth Fairy is voiced by Isla Fisher.
Amy Poehler. And you're not Amy Poehler.
What?
It's Isla Fisher.
Isla Fisher. I keep getting them mixed up. I keep getting mixed up.
You interrupted her incorrectly. That's hilarious to me.
Yeah, I mean, I don't remember that much about Isla Fisher other than she was in that live-action Scooby-Doo movie.
And she was also in Now You See Me, that magic movie.
Who did she play in the live-action Scooby-Doo movie?
The blonde chick that sits next to Shaggy on the airplane.
Oh, yeah, with that creepy, bad effect.
Oh.
Yeah. But anyways, I will tell you guys this. Based off of what I read from the Rise of the Guardians books, the Tooth Fairy here is a lot different from the Tooth Fairy in the book series.
Oh, please tell me how.
It's like a complete 180.
I mean, the book series seems awesome, so please explain how.
Based off of what I remember while reading the book, she's more serious and less, perky, like in the movie.
Like you, perky.
Yeah. So because her parents were killed, and then she had to deal with the Monkey King, and then I forgot how she got her powers, but. Yeah, I think she's let's just say she's pretty serious. She's more serious in the book series. And I actually remember seeing a deleted scene when they were trying to develop Rise of the Guardians where Tooth was more serious. And I guess maybe because they wanted someone that was really, again, perky, cheerful, and
bubbly.
Very, yeah.
Well, Tooth plays an important role. Tooth is the only girl on the team. So they probably didn't want her to be a grumpy Gus that was too serious or something. So they wanted to give her a little more character.
And plus she's very colorful too. When you think of hummingbirds, their hummingbirds are really colorful. So she's like a hummingbird hybrid, and I have never seen, out of all the Tooth Fairies iterations that I've seen, hers is the most unique.
Oh yeah.
There is no other Tooth Fairy that's a hummingbird.
Wait. I think the fairy godmother from Shrek 2 is more the stereotypical Tooth Fairy you would expect.
I mean, yeah, that is a stereotypical fairy look. Although I got to be honest, I think that this original look is cool. Yeah. But if I was looking at all of these characters standing side by side, I could be okay, that's Sandman, that's Jack Frost, that's Easter Bunny, that's Santa, and is that a peacock? What the hell? What are you?
No, it's
I'm the Tooth Fairy.
Wait, you're the Tooth Fairy? I think you look more like a mutated person. No. You
she looks like the spirit of summer. I thought she was Mother Nature.
Actually, that would be good. Honestly, that would be a better...
I will tell you guys this. Mother Nature is the daughter of Pitch Black.
What?
Oh, that's interesting.
In the book series, yes. Mother Nature is the daughter of Pitch Black.
So just
So wait. I actually made a thing that Loki is like pitch black since it's like the Avengers. So would that mean that Mother Nature is like Hela? Technically, since
I mean, in the movies,
Hela's the
Hela
daughter of
isn't
Loki.
necessarily.
Hold on, wait a minute. No, that would make her the 8-legged horse that Loki gave birth to.
Let's not
Wait.
get into Norse mythology. But
like I said, so Tooth is pretty much very caring. She's perky. Her center is memories, and I like the part where she explains to Jack why her and little mini Tooth Fairies collect the teeth in the first place. It's because of the memories, and when someone needs to remember what's really important in life, they show it to them, and I think that's really sweet. And I also like how she like always constantly flirts with Jack, trying to go in to see his teeth. Like, it's so funny.
I think something interesting about like this version, like I think her name is Toothia or something.
Oh, her full name is Toothiana.
Oh,
What
Toothiana.
was her original name, I wonder?
Toothiana.
Just Tooth.
That was her original name. Really?
Yes, before she was the Tooth Fairy, she was just named Toothiana. It's
So
like when
her
a
mother
butcher is named Butch.
I think
gonna
had
be
a
a Tooth Fairy.
her name.
Hey, I'm just saying, I know.
I think my daughter
I'm
Toothiana. How
Brooks,
about
Brooks,
the Tooth Fairy?
Brooks, I'm just saying, I know a butcher named Butch.
Fair enough.
Okay.
But
No.
Toothiana isn't the real name.
It doesn't have to be. It's fantasy.
Well, no, I was just saying that when she became a guardian and like the hummingbird thing, her name was Toothiana. I don't know what her actual real name was. I don't remember.
Yeah,
Right.
that makes sense. It was probably Ariana or something similar to Toothiana. But if we're talking about the character, I think she plays a big role too. Again, they really show the importance of like all of these different holidays and the fact that the Tooth Fairy has to work every day, not once a year. They show
She's like the most
the teeth.
busiest person, like the absolute most.
And admittedly, the idea of like collecting someone's teeth is inherently a little creepy.
But wait, isn't it the the little hummingbirds that do all the work and she's just the boss? Technically,
Yeah.
Well, yeah, but remember she says she has. Remember when they go like helping to collect the tooth after the pitch nightmares like took all the.
She
memories
hasn't been in the field for a while.
Yeah, she hasn't been in the field for 440 years.
That being said, though, like I love her upbeatness. Like Avengers was brought up, and obviously there's a comparison. If I were to compare her to a character that I know, she acts a lot like the Wasp. Like she is like, first of all, she has wings, so there's that comparison. But she's upbeat. She's kind of like the
She's very
heart
optimistic.
of the team in a way. She definitely keeps everyone happy. I like her.
Oh my god!
I like her too.
Remember the part where
I was wondering when you brought the Avengers, which Avengers you brought up. Now I know you meant Avengers: Earth's Mightiest Heroes, right?
Yeah, that's one of the things I am definitely referencing. I'm also referencing the comics.
Yeah, I think also one of the other funny scenes with Tooth is when she shows Sophie like the teeth with the blood and gums on them.
Look at all the little teeth with blood and gums on them.
And she screams.
To be fair, holy crap, if anyone just held, like, if someone holds one tooth that is their own tooth that they lost, okay, that's fine. If someone has, like, 3 teeth in their hands, or even 4, that alone is scary. Minus the blood.
Blood and gums on them.
Like, Jesus.
Also, I think one of the most badass moments with Tooth is when she punches Pitch in the face.
Gives him a first, and then punches his tooth out. Brilliant.
I think Tooth is good. I think Sandman, there's not a ton to say, except there are amazing visuals with him.
Wait, I never got to talk about Tooth Fairy.
Yeah, Calum and Brooks. Yeah.
Neil, you said not a ton to say. Was that pun intentional?
Maybe.
Maybe I've been talking about Tooth Fairy a bit, but maybe I'll elaborate a bit more. Okay, so Tooth Fairy is, like Shree said, very perky, very bubbly, but it's just that memories, people like forget their memories, and like people always like as you get older, like it doesn't just have an effect on your childhood. Also, as you get older, maybe because you don't want to forget your memories as you're older, so for that, having your memories as you get older and older and older until you die, that's great. Like that you will hold on to those memories until your death. And that the Tooth Fairy will always keep your memories, and then okay.
It's just one would think, wouldn't that be Sandman's job to collect memories, though?
Well, I think dreams and memories are a little bit different.
Yeah, I guess you're right. I mean, I guess
memories are really crucial to life. You know, sometimes you don't have the best memories, but you can learn from the past.
I know.
You know, now that I'm thinking about it, weirdly, Sandman and Tooth Fairy are both two sides of the same coin, because Tooth Fairy is all about remembering your past and the good times of it, and Sandman is about looking to your desires of the future and your dreams. So, I think they weirdly go hand in hand with each other.
Calum, what do you think about Tooth?
The Tooth Fairy, yeah, I was going to mention that Tooth Fairy does play a really important role in the story. I mean, all the Guardians do, which I'm very thankful for, actually. Tooth Fairy's role, I mean, one of their first major missions, is to collect all the teeth. And another element is that she mentions having fond memories of collecting Jack's teeth, and then Jack is getting all too curious about the memories, because in the lore of God, each of the baby teeth contain memories from the past, and Jack's getting curious about that, and then Pitch Black exploits that to his advantage, and things go a bit airy, but Jack eventually looks into the teeth and remembers who he is and who he was destined to be, etc., etc. So,
we'll get to Jack later.
Yeah.
Yes. So I think we're gonna next talk about Sandman, who is a mute character. There's no voice actor, but I think he has some of the most funniest moments in the movie as well. Yeah. And visually, it's just gorgeous. Like when you first see like Sandman, like how he is able to create all these images for the kids, it is beautiful. And especially near the end of the movie, when they defeat Pitch Black and he creates like the Stegosaurus and all these stingrays and snow and these little goldfish. It's so beautiful. My only thing for me is I wish they didn't kill him off.
And then they brought him back. What?
I kind of like that they kill him, because here's the thing. If Tooth Fairy and Sandman are two sides of the same coin, then Pitch is the polar opposite of that coin altogether. He's focused on the negative. He's focused on the darkness. So it makes sense that those two are actual enemies, and he would have a specific grudge against Sandman. He makes nightmares.
Right.
Those are literally the rivals of dreams. I think it's really cool, especially because that fight scene they get where Sandman gets overwhelmed. I like it, personally.
I was just saying, like, after Pitch was shot him in the back, I just think they kind of did a little bit too fast for me, because out of all the worlds that we've seen for each Guardian, and heck, even Pitch's lair, I want to see what Sandy's world was like. That's the one thing I really wish that would happen.
I got it. It's in his mind.
Well, here's the thing.
It's actually an entire world in the book series. Like,
I had that criticism too, Cher, but then I thought about it, and also I thought it's better to see him do his job. Like, I like that we see him give people sweet dreams. Like, arguably, Sandman is the most important, because, once again, like...
First Guardian. The very first Guardian, according to the book series.
Well, also, like, if you look at it from this perspective, Santa gives people, like, hope and wonder once a year. Easter Bunny does the same thing, but dreams are so important. They're such an outlet for creativity.
There you go.
And frickin' Sandman has to do this every night and fill people with hope and desire and just the best of memories. And I really think seeing him die is like a ripple effect that says, oh crap, he was like the strongest of us.
Well, that makes sense, because like what you said, they're polar opposites. Like, Sandy creates dreams and Pitch creates nightmares.
What do you think, Cal? What's your stake in this?
You know, this is going to be very interesting from me, a Scotsman, because the Sandman, in case you didn't know, is not really mentioned as big as such here in the Europe, or as far as I know. From what I know, Sandman is a big phenomena in America. I see some movies like Lucy, the film about like an assassin girl, and then there's a scene where a guy whispers, "The Sandman." I'm thinking, "Who's the Sandman?" I thought to myself, and then someone had to explain to me, "Oh, the Sandman is like the little droopy goop in your eyes. That's the Sandman gives you those." I was like, oh, "Okay, that makes sense." When I wake up every morning, I just go like, "Oh, right, the sleep that appears." Yeah, that.
Under your eye. Oh yeah, yeah, and in the Santa Claus movies, he's just
so, it's a way of being the character. So
there's a Spider-Man villain called Sandman.
Yeah, I know. And
the Spider-Man
wait,
villain.
I have one thing to say. Can I say about Sandman? You know, I love that Sandman creates imagination, but I wish that he could create like something that's not real out of his imagination. Something that like is not like animals or like, you know, things that exist
Well,
in real life.
he does create an airplane in the movie, and he has his little.
No. That's something that exists in real life. Like something like that's not real. That's an original thought.
Are you trying to say something that cannot be physically measured yet is a hope and a dream? And
I think what he's saying is he wants like a little more creativity, not just animals. Like maybe see a UFO or like.
Or no, like a spaceship that doesn't even look like a UFO. That doesn't look like anything like an original like concept.
My argument to that is then how would the audience know it's a spaceship?
No, because it would be designed like a spaceship. It would, because you could tell in Star Wars, because in Star Wars you knew that they were spaceships, even though you never seen them before.
Basically, long story short, and I can tell you from experience, dreams are weird.
And he does make something that like doesn't exist anymore. He makes dinosaurs. He makes these beautiful shapes that you're not expecting.
Yeah, he makes like stingrays. He makes goldfish and snow, and it's just really pretty. It
is beautiful. It is beautiful, and that's why I say that this is what animation should be focusing on: trying to make something beautiful, or trying to make it instead of looking realistic, or like trying to make textures, or like trying to make like make it look like real humans.
Here's the thing, Squid, and here's why I disagree with literally everything you just said. If you look at this movie, it is very focused on looking beautiful and stuff. But also, there's this one scene right when Pitch kicks Littletooth. And you can see Jack scream for Littletooth, and it's just a quick scene. But if you look closely at it, you can see a vein in his eye. You can see his neck tense as he's yelling. The animation in this movie is top notch, and it is realistic in ways
it definitely rivals with Disney and other companies as well too.
Oh, absolutely! Like friggin'
okay. But 2D animation can do stem fines too. But it's just that here's where I draw the line, where you just focus on that instead of trying to focus on what Spider-Verse did, trying to focus on something that doesn't look real, trying to make something imaginative, trying to make something that doesn't exist. That's what animation should do. Or
this is definitely a bit of a side tangent.
Then don't make them look like real humans. Make them look like art.
This is definitely a bit of a side tangent, but I think while sticking in the world of realism, this movie, and like I'll mention Disney does this too, they are great at playing with visuals. Like even if it's visuals that you can imagine, like for example, the lights in Tangled, the castle in Frozen. I can imagine an ice castle. I can imagine lanterns. But just seeing them is beautiful. And in this movie, like they added like realism of seeing that vein in Jack's eye. And the fact that he's hurt and he's worried, and I can tell that through his tiniest of movements, that adds to the animation for me.
It needs to be balanced. You got to find a balance. Obviously, what you want to avoid, which is what Brooks is bringing up, avoid the uncanny valley as much as you can, because
yeah, I think they avoid the uncanny valley completely in this film, and most, if not all, Disney films as well.
So
that's the thing. I might be a little contradictory, but I do like the Adventures of Tintin, even though it looks realistic, because I do like the story. Even though I don't exactly.
Love.
I don't.
One of these days, me and Calum will review
want
1010 on this
animation to
channel.
become another form of photorealism. Photorealism is its own thing, and I don't want animation to become like that.
That's fine, but this movie is a great balance of it, so I definitely think we should focus on what we have, not what we're afraid of, because in this movie, nothing to fear. Looks amazing, great visuals. I even love, and like you're talking about things that look realistic, look at Sandy. He doesn't look like a real person, but my God, if he doesn't warm my heart.
Do not underestimate his petiteness. That's why I remember when like Sandy and Pitch, went at each other, and like Sandy was beating up Pitch, and like Jack's like, remind me not to get on your bad side.
Well, we can't talk about Jack yet because Jack's the main character.
Well,
so
wait, let's. I just want to talk about a little bit. What do we think about the kids? Jamie and his friends and his little sister.
Kids, Jamie is the one that gets the most attention, and the other kids are just there, the side characters. But I feel like Jamie is actually. I have a theory that Jamie is the great descendant of Jack. Because
there is actually a theory about this on YouTube. Someone actually did a theory about that.
I thought
about that when I first saw the movie.
Yeah, everyone was saying like Jack and Jack's little sister before he passed, and then Jamie. I think more so, Jamie is the great descendant of Jack's little sister.
Yeah, well, so that means that would be he would be the great uncle, the grunkle, great uncle.
If it is true, if it is true though, I think I like it better that they don't confirm that. I like the idea of Jamie being a stranger that has no reason to know that it's Jack Frost, but he just does because it's such a visual, like when Jack is playing on the window and like making all those visuals for him. It's such a cool idea, and that reaching out to him, like I think it sullies the waters a little bit if it's like, oh, you're my descendant, and that's why you can see me.
But no, I don't think. But here's the reason, a great reason why he's his descendant. He can never see his sister again because she's dead. But now that he can see his descendant again, it's like seeing his sister again. It's like seeing her.
I kind of get that.
I kind of get that too, especially when Jack and Jamie, they actually see each other for the very first time. It's kind of like that magical feeling. And then like when when Pitch has them surrounded, they both say, Jamie and Jack's little sister, like, Jack, I'm scared. I know, you're gonna be okay. We're gonna have a little fun instead. So that little connection there is really cute too.
And Jamie is actually very important because he lets Jack realize what his center is, which is of course fun. Like using fun to heal people and help people.
Yeah.
Perfect representation.
Something we all know well.
I think.
I actually, when talking about the kids, I think Sophie has some of the best scenes in the movie.
Yes, when she goes into the Warren, Bunny's Warren.
I love seeing the Easter Bunny rock her to sleep because it's like you always think of Santa being this Gentile figure. You don't really assign a character to the Easter Bunny. Like obviously he gives eggs and he's happy, but you don't really give him the jolly personality of Santa. And seeing him care for children and stuff, seeing him care for children and really like care about Easter, which everybody kind of considers the lame holiday in comparison to Christmas, even in this movie, it's awesome to see that. And Sophie is at the core of it.
So yeah, but then when everything crumbles, and then when no one starts to believe in him, and everything in front of him crumbles, it's just like we're seeing like the internal, like the psyche of him going mad, going like insane, and going sad, and going all over the place.
I love the scene. I didn't even think about this, and I just got reminded of it, and it does have to do with the kids. I love the scene where all of the kids are sad about Easter. And the Easter Bunny runs up and says, don't worry, I got a couple eggs right here. He's painting them. And the kids walk right through him. They can't see him. And it's heartbreaking because that was his holiday. And it got ruined. And everything that happens with Sandy, it's just all so terrible. and you really feel it. It like stabs you right in the heart. Especially when you think about it, most people don't love Easter the way that we love Christmas, so it's a neat comparison.
Yeah, it's fun to do like the Easter egg hunt, but then when you're a little bit too old for that, it's just like, oh, Easter Sunday, yeah. Woo.
I still get candy every year for Easter though, so.
I used to make like those little egg, like those hard-boiled eggs. You're able to paint them.
But I don't get hard-boiled eggs. Why not just fill it with candy? Why not just get those plastic eggs filled with candy?
Well, real fast. What we've heard what Squid thought of the kids. We've heard what Cher thought. We heard what I thought. Calum.
Yeah, Calum. Don't forget about the Scottish man. Calum, are you okay?
Talk about the
Does this
kids,
look like
David.
the face of someone who's too old for kids? So the kids, obviously, they're the most. They're playing an important part in
Your
the
mic
Guardians
is
because that's who they're
glitching,
from.
Cal.
I'll turn off my
Still
camera.
glitching.
Let me turn off my camera. There we go.
That sometimes helps.
Am I clear?
You're still
A little
isolated.
Squid, turn off your camera too. Actually, Cal, turn off your camera.
Okay.
That might help. Squid, Cher, you can turn yours back
Yes.
on. Cal, keep yours
Oh.
off.
Okay, right. Okay, how do I sound?
You sound great.
Okay, excellent. I guess I should just do the rest of this review with the camera off then. All right. So, they played a crucial role because that's whom the Guardians are trying to impact and ultimately save from the negative impact of Pitch Black. And I like how the kids themselves do play a role in being guardians in their own right, with standing up against the darkness, finding
And
courage.
don't forget using their own imagination against,
Yeah,
Pitch and his.
attributes.
And I think that's what resurrected the Sandman.
Yeah, that's exactly right. The faith, the courage, the imagination, the hope, the wonder, just all these
Well, as
beautiful.
Jack says at the end, which is really beautiful, like not the moon thing, but as Jack says at the end, it's like, hey, I'm going to be around as long as you're here to believe in me. You can't believe in you believe in the sun when it's like out for night, right? So just believe in me and I'll stick around. I guess that makes you a guardian too. And it's a great line.
No. That should have been the closing line.
Yes.
No, we need
I
to know
will
about
agree.
the
Yes, I will agree. That last.
No,
one was
I
weird.
disagree full-heartedly. We need Jack to assure us that if the moon tells you to do something, you need to believe it. Without that, my whole life, my whole future, my whole way of being is gone.
Oh man.
Speaking of Jack Frost, I think we should talk about him.
Let's do it.
Wait.
Well, first, we should probably bring up the villain, right?
No.
Yeah,
Jack Frost
do that
first and then
too.
the villain. There's Jack Frost. Or maybe Jack Frost last.
Well, Jack Frost is the main character, so he should be last.
Okay,
That's for last, I
fine,
guess.
fine. Yes,
Here's what
I love Jude Law.
Jude
Wait,
Law
can I
needs
talk about the villain first?
Yes.
Sure.
Okay. So I've heard from some people that he is a bad villain, but I think he's a decent threat. He's decent for what he is. There is that understanding that he wasn't. I don't know who made them this way. How did he get this way? Who knows? I don't know. How did he get this way? Because originally the Guardians were original people. How did Pitch be this way?
Book series.
But guess what?
I know.
But now that he wants to make children afraid of him and that he wants to do this, but at the same time he has Jack's problem that no one can see him, it's kind of hard to sympathize with him because he wants to cause terror, but at the same time, he still can't be seen by anyone or believed by anyone, and it's being constantly hated, but hating at the same time. It's like born from your hatred to hate more.
Pitch Black wasn't always, the boogeyman. I'm just saying.
I know. Then who was he?
Well, if I remember correctly, and this is back to the book series, Pitch was actually human, like all the other Guardians. His full name, I believe, I'm going to butcher this, Cosmatus Pitchner. He had a wife and a daughter named Emily Jane. He is a soldier, and he used to help, the Man and Moon fight off against, the darkness. And it was his job.
Oh my god, I think I know where this is going.
Yes. It was his job to guard this door that had the darkness in it. And the darkness would always tempt him to open the door by using some things that he loved. And then the darkness found out his weakness. They used his daughter's voice. They mimicked his daughter's voice. And he thought his daughter was in there in danger. He opened it up, and the darkness got out, engulfed him, and that's how he became pitch black. Pitch's mother, not Pitch's mother, Pitch's wife passed away, and I don't remember how Emily Jane passed, but she did become Mother Nature. I don't remember how, but that's pretty much Pitch's story.
Right. So
and
generally,
he had nightmare dream pirates, and he was able to corrupt children and turn them into dream pirates.
Seriously, is this book not messed up? What is this book? Is this for teenagers, adults, or children?
It's awesome.
The book series is great, guys. I'm telling you.
Wait.
Now I'm hearing all this shit, and I'm like, yes.
Who is this for? Is this for children or adults?
I think
it's
for
for people who want to see a cool ass story with holidays.
Okay, I know. I'm fully in.
I'm in. I'll drink the Kool-Aid.
Yay, good job. Okay. So Pitch is able to again corrupt children in the book. In the book he's able to corrupt children. He basically, the Man in Moon is actually a human. But
what?
He lives on the moon.
So he is the boy from the DreamWorks logo.
No, I don't know about that, but
got a fishing rod.
And I have a question. Is this why they made this movie? Just because there's a man in the moon? Is that why DreamWorks made this movie?
And the opening of the movie, it's actually Jack that's on the moon.
I know. But it's
you also gotta remember, guys, there is a story. Like, I heard it forever ago, but there is like a folklore story about a man in the moon. And it's about him being like a watcher and taking care of the world, and that's kind of what they adapted.
Yep. And this book right here, this picture book right here.
I can't super remember it, but it's like the man in the moon watches down to see what's going on Earth.
That's pretty much what Kneale just said right there. Yeah, and actually, as a kid, his parents, were like the king and queen, and then there was like this little guardian that looked just like Jack, but he was called Nightlight. And then when Pitch invaded Man in Moon's kingdom, he basically corrupted and killed the parents. And he was about to corrupt Man in Moon, but Nightlight took him to a safe place. And like what Kneale said, he became the watcher of the world. And when Pitch decides to come back and threaten the world, that's when he assembles the Guardians.
So who's next?
Scotsman.
Okay, all right, I'll go next. So, Pitch Black certainly works as a villain. The boogeyman in general folklore is this figure that scares children into behaving good lest something bad happens to them. And in the context of this movie, he wants to have attention. He wants to cover the world in darkness because he's just so sick and tired of this being neglected by all this light. And I don't know if there's any other characters who would be able to be like worthy opponents, but Pitch Black or Boogeyman is probably associated with Halloween, and if not Halloween, then just things that children fear in general. So Pitch Black
that's why I always hated Halloween. Well, I don't hate the candy, but I always hate Halloween because of the fear.
Yeah.
He, I don't think he does represent Halloween. Like I think he represents just bad dreams.
Somewhere in some shape or form. I think there's a Grim Reaper.
Okay, so maybe Grim
Reaper.
Reaper.
Skeleton is from Nightmare Before Christmas.
Wait,
yeah, Jack Skellington is Halloween.
Crossover between Nightmare Before Christmas and Rise of the Guardians?
In hindsight, this is kind of my criticism. What was that? What just happened?
I'm still here. I had to move on my iPad.
Okay. Well, My big criticism about Nightmare Before Christmas, the fact that we never see the other holidays, was kind of answered here.
Oh, nice.
Like here we do get to see like an Easter world and a Christmas world and a Tooth Fairy world, and it's cool. All right, I think it's time that we've all been waiting for.
Wait. I didn't finish talking about Pitch Black yet.
Oh, go ahead.
Because I was on my phone. Sorry, my parents are home. Pretty much, I think originally Benedict Cumberbatch was supposed to play Pitch Black.
Ooh, Benedict Cumberbatch.
But Pitch is very seductive, in my opinion. He is very manipulative, especially when he tries to get Jack to join his side. And he is just amazing. My only thing is, I wish he was in the movie more, because there's like a compilation of Pitch, and I think he's only in the movie for like about 10 minutes.
10 minutes?
I think the connection. I think the connection between Pitch and Jack goes a little deeper than what we see in the film, because Pitch is all about darkness, and to a degree, Jack also plays with that same darkness. Jack plays with trickery and deceit, and he loves pulling pranks on people. So, like, ask any actor, it's incredibly fun to play a bad guy. And
yeah,
Jack,
if you've seen like the B-roll footage, well, like I guess B-roll, you know, where the voice actors are filming, or like, you know, in like the mic, like the voice acting stuff. If you see Jude Law, it's really fun to see him play Pitch Black. Oh my gosh, it's just amazing how they're able to play the characters.
I mean,
and you kind of see what they're doing. It's really cool.
Villain songs are so fun to sing. Like,
oh my gosh, it would have been funny if you had a villain song. LOL.
Oh, probably.
What's the thing you were saying about Pitch? I love the idea about his nightmares, mares being a type of horse.
Right.
So, of course, the representation of the fears and nightmares, the culmination of all things that the children fear, and that's the things that the Guardians have to fight throughout the movie. There's this really cool concept about them I love at the end. So at the end, they've pretty much beaten Pitch Black, and he says, "I will return," and then Santa's like, we'll be here for kicking. And then he says, "So what are they doing here?" Nightmares are surrounding the area, and then Santa's like, "I'm not scared." And then they point out that they're his fears. And that's how he gets beaten and poofed away. That's a brilliant concept.
A lot of people was like, "Oh, he's dead." I'm like, I don't think he's dead. No. I think he just got sent back to his lair. That's why he's like, "I will return." And like Jamie was worried, like, what if Pitch returns? So I don't think he's dead.
I think this leaves the door open for like another villain. Like you mentioned that the darkness corrupted Pitch. I think in this moment, this is Pitch, like, losing himself to the darkness, and kind of when they like attack him and suck him back to his lair, as you pitched, I think what's happening there is he's being downgraded. Like, oh, you're not going to be the one in charge. Us, the darkness, are now going to step up. You were going to be like our soldier. You were going to be our chosen avatar.
Now
we're gonna change it up.
Now you're a female dog.
All right,
you can say word bitch. We're allowed to say bitch.
Okay, now you're my bitch.
Okay, we're going to replace Pitch Black with Freddy Krueger now. He's the next best thing.
This Jack Skellington guy is quite promising. But with that, I think we've talked about Pitch a bit. And we've talked about the story details a lot, actually, throughout this. So I think the last thing to talk about... That dog is excited.
The alpha is so cute. I'm so sorry, y'all.
Talk about is Jack himself, Jack Frost, Chris Pine.
Okay, Cherie should go first.
Yes.
Cherie should go last.
My parents are at the door.
I'll go first.
Okay, you guys go first. My parents are at the door.
I'll go first. Okay. So, Jack, it's just that, like you said, that Jack is very similar to Pitch, and that even when Jack, when Pitch showed him what they can do, that black darkness and cold go so well together. And we've seen Jack Frost be the villain in other stories. It's finally time for him to be the hero in this story. Yeah, it's finally time for him, to not be seen as just a trickster, just a troublemaker, or just as a real hero, as a genuine person who brings happiness to people.
Yeah, I guess that makes that temptation scene, even though many might point out it's a bit cliched. I think it gives it a bit more of an edge if you know the symbolism behind it, like we've been analyzing.
And it's just that Jack is. And it's trying to find a center, and him not being seen by anyone, which the Guardians had a luxury of 300 years of being seen by children. And actually, the Guardians, it's ironic. Why are they not seen? They don't want to be seen, but they want to be seen at the same time. They don't want to be seen by anyone because they're giving the gifts, but they want to be seen because they want to be believed.
Here's the thing. Jack says it at the end. You can't have full devotion and belief in something you see every day. Like, if you know something is real, that's one thing. But they get their power from belief. So because of that, they can't be celebrities in the center of everyone's attention. I'm not
saying that. I'm saying that shouldn't they just not be seen at all and they still believe in him?
Well, yeah, but they still need to save the day. Like, they have to reveal themselves in order to, get their powers back with these one couple of children.
I think it's interesting how much this film plays into faith and stuff like that, because there have been many films, even with Will Ferrell's Elf, that where Santa himself says believing doesn't necessarily come from seeing it. It comes from the spirit. It comes from within, which initiates
I know. That's what I'm
the
saying.
boy
because I'm not saying that they have to see him to believe him. I'm just saying that why see them to begin with if they're never seen at all? Why not just believe in them?
Well, that's the thing. They can't just, obviously the moral of the story is Pitch has been, filling people with nightmares and stuff so that they lose their belief in the Guardians. And now they have to reveal themselves to, save the world and save the people they care about.
I know, that's good. That's good. I was just saying. I think Calum goes next.
I think it's something worthy of conversation because, Jack Frost is the center of attention for this movie. Judging by what Charisse has talked about with this book series, I mean, the main character could have been any of these Guardians, honestly. But
they decided to choose Jack because he was never a hero.
Yeah, it's interesting because throughout.
Well, according to Cher, Jack was the last book, so it's possible that one left the biggest impact.
Okay, so as we mentioned, Jack Frost in previous interpretations has been similar, but never depicted as a heroic protagonist. And in many respects, Jack Frost doesn't really start off that way, which is very suitable. He's a trickster who likes to, do frosty stuff, and usually doesn't really care about responsibilities and things like that, which is usually why he's depicted in a sort of pre-teenage sort of age. I think the others.
You can definitely see, if Pitch would have came to him with the right things to say, Jack would have been a bad guy.
And so it's no wonder that he strays off the path. He initially rejects his role as the Guardian, but over time, he realizes how important he is to the children, and that's the one thing that defines him as a hero. His love for the children, and that love increases when he takes on the role of a Guardian, especially when he accepts being an actual Guardian by the end of the movie. So yes, we can relate to him with his love for children. That it plays a key role in everything, especially in the scene where he manages to convince Jamie through making the frost signs on the window, getting to make a literal frost bunny to hop around, give him a sense of hope and wonder when all seemed lost. He's just overjoyed when Jamie could finally see him.
I agree.
Usually,
I think Jack is such an interesting. He's the only one we get to see the backstory of in this movie, and Jack like his connection to his sister and how he is totally using like it's such a creative use because he is actively helping people with fun. Like he's like, okay, you're fine, you're not in any danger, we're gonna play a little game. And in this situation, his like little sister is on the ice and she's playing a game with him, and it's wonderful. It's such an emotional scene. Jack like figures out that that's who he is. That moment defined him. And God, he's such a good character based on that premise. Like,
I have one question. Which
Mhm,
one's
yes.
the DreamWorks character? Hiccup or Jack Frost?
Jack.
Ooh. Really? Would you like to explain, please, Neil, comparing Jack Frost to Hiccup?
I like Hiccup. I love Hiccup. I think that Hiccup is in a situation where Hiccup always feels this need to prove himself. And at the end, he finds his own way to prove himself and is wonderful. But I think the problem with Hiccup is since you're supposed to relate to Hiccup a lot, Hiccup doesn't have a ton of character. Like, Hiccup is obviously like the underdog who's got to prove things his way, and he's great for that purpose. You can very easily put yourself into the role of Hiccup. And maybe in the sequels, they flesh him out more. But here, if we're comparing How to Train Your Dragon and Guardians, I think that Jack is just arguably the better character because Jack, throughout the film, is trying to figure out who he is and realizing there isn't one set answer, but there are pieces to an answer that he can put together through his memories, through his center, through Jamie. There's a ton of different paths to take, and I think Jack just overall is kind of better than Hiccup. I think that's why even today you'll hear people bring up Jack Frost from this movie. While Hiccup, like you're always like when you talk about How to Train Your Dragon, you're always talking about the visuals of the dragons and just how wonderful it is.
And you're also talking about how they treated Stoke's death.
Neil?
I'm back.
Neil?
Hello.
I had nothing to say about that moment.
I'm finally back. Ugh.
Chair, we're talking about Jack Frost's character, and I believe
Yes, Stoic was
I
a
was actually on my
character
iPad and I was
that
listening
didn't
to you
have a
guys.
death out, that didn't have a fake out, and it was the one character that stayed dead throughout the entire series.
Wait, what?
Anyway.
Oh, Stoic. Okay.
Yeah, I thought Neil was going to continue on with that, but I think he's made his point about preferring Jack Frost. I suppose How to Train Your Dragon had many other things to focus on, whereas Rise of the Guardians just have to focus a lot more on who Jack Frost is. So
I mean, honestly, I think Toothless is a better character than Hiccup.
I mean, the only thing I will complain about Hiccup is that his voice does get a little annoying.
That's what a lot of people say.
What are you
That's what a lot of
talking
people
about?
say.
He sounds fine. There's
It's
nothing.
like,
sounds
it's like
fine.
really nasally. I mean, it's like I know he's supposed to be going through puberty and stuff, but it sounds really nasally and it sounds like really annoying. You know.
Blame the voice actor.
Yeah.
Blame the voice actor. Blame the voice
Why is
actor.
it not all these?
The voice actor is part of the character. I blame the character.
I think Jay. Yeah, it's Jay Bruchel because he was in Sorcerer's
Yeah, but he
Apprentice.
fits. It's like how I feel about Deku. The voice actors both fit the characters, but it's just that except Deku's voice is not as annoying as Hiccup's. But it's just that they both fit the character, even though I like the Japanese subs better.
Well, here's the thing. Back to Jack Frost. I think Jack just has more personality and more to get into. Like, with Hiccup, obviously, I wanted Hiccup to succeed. I wanted Hiccup to be friends with Toothless. I wanted him to figure out his own role because How to Train Your Dragon is an amazing movie. But with Jack, every time you, see this character, whether it be his backstory or whether it be, him just having fun, it plays with you. Like, his connection to the Easter Bunny, his backstory with his sister, and, of course, Jamie, and even, when he's learning that he needs to find his center, it all plays with your heart. Chris Pine's voice acting really helps with that, but also...
Oh,
I think
speaking
that's how
of
he's
Chris
written.
Pine, there's another thing. Remember how I told you that Benedict Cumberbatch was supposed to be pitch black?
He
Leonardo
played
DiCaprio.
fantastic as Smog. I mean, that was like, he was fantastic as Smog.
Leonardo DiCaprio was supposed to be Jack Frost.
What? Oh my
hell! That would have been weird.
That was originally. Yeah, originally Leonardo was supposed to be Jack
Leo
Frost.
doesn't do voice acting.
No, you don't have to necessarily do voice acting.
Well, actually, Chris Pine
It's
doesn't do voice acting either.
It's more like celebrity voice.
Yeah, that's the problem of today's media, like today's animation. It has to be celebrity voice actors instead of regular voice actors that you get.
That's not how it is with everything. Look at like Zachary Levi in Tangled. He's magnificent, and he's still a big name.
But that's why anime actually has a lot of voice actors that are unheard of, and you can still get into the story.
Anime.
But it's not relevant to what I'm talking about.
No, it's not. It's anime.
Can I talk about Jack Frost now?
Yes, Sherry. Let's hear your thoughts on Jack Frost, please. Okay.
So, yes, back to the lore of Rise of the Guardians, Jack Frost. Jack Frost wasn't always Jack Frost, as you know, based off of the movie.
Yeah.
Yeah, his actual name is, I think, Jackson Overland.
Okay.
But actually, I remember I mentioned this character named Nightlight. Nightlight is very important into the book series because he befriends this young girl named Catherine. They go on adventures finding the Guardians. Catherine gets captured by Pitch, and Mother Nature actually helps her father, Pitch, with getting, the girl, despite her being jealous of Catherine. Nightlight does the true love's kiss with Catherine. And then he disappears. That's why with Jack, it's like Nightlight is within him.
I knew it. That I knew they had a connection when I first heard about Nightlight.
Yes, Nightlight, yeah, Nightlight and Jack. I don't want to say they're like one and the same, but they're really connected with each other. But back to the actual movie and not like the book series. When I first saw this movie, I was just astounded. It was just beautiful. It was amazing. And for some reason, Jack Frost reminds me of one of the members of One Direction.
What?
Just the way that he looks like one of the members of One Direction. Or some type of other boy band.
One?
I don't know. It's not Harry Styles.
Harry Styles is like the only one I know.
So, but a lot of people did compare Jack with Danny Phantom as well.
Actually, that does make sense.
So, so Jack.
Like hair, glowing eyes.
Or maybe if you take a picture of me, Photoshop my hair white, and give me a blue hoodie, I can play.
And take off your little goatee or your.
My goatee, yeah.
And look at my
install
beard.
Chris Pine's voice box into your system.
Yeah, I do love being tossed into a magic portal, yeah.
And then I become a superhero.
You sound like Chris Pine, Calum.
Obviously, Jack.
You don't sound like Chris Pine.
Well, Jack is very mischievous, of course, in the very beginning, because I always automatically assume Jack Frost is always the villain and everything, but he was actually the main protagonist, which is I really like.
And the hero. Don't forget the hero.
Yes, and the hero too.
Like the advertising really underplays Jack. Like if you look at the commercials, it seems like it's going to be about Easter Bunny and Santa.
Huh. Funny.
I always saw like Jack Frost one time in this poster, and it was like dark, and there was like the moon, and that he was like using his staff, and he was like that. I saw them in that poster.
Yeah, that's why I said the biggest problem was like that DreamWorks didn't really care about this movie, and they barely advertised it correctly.
Yeah.
Boo on DreamWorks. I love them, but I, boo on them at the same time.
I'm trying to see.
I also wanted to talk about, after I saw this movie, I wanted to talk about this crossover fandom called Rise of the Brave Tangled Dragons.
I've heard of this.
Yes. So pretty much ever since Rise of the Guardians came out, a group of people started to see similarities with Jack and Hiccup, Merida from Brave and Rapunzel from Tangled. They kind of just like grouped these guys together, and to the point where they even shipped them. Yeah, they would ship them, like they would ship, either Merida or Jack, or sometimes even Hijack, which is Jack and Hiccup. And but the most popular ship from the four of them was Jack and Rapunzel, which I thought that was really sweet.
But wait, I thought the most popular ship was Jack and Elsa.
Well, we'll get to this lady right here behind me. We'll get to her, cause she, woo! A lot of people obviously were debating, which one's better, Tangled or Frozen. A lot of people were pitting Jack was shipped with a lot of people. He was shipped with Elsa. He was shipped with Anna, Rapunzel, Merida, Mavis, Hiccup.
He gets all the girls.
Not all girls. Not all girls. He was shipped with Hiccup, Eugene,
Spider-Man.
Kristoff.
So it's a bisexual. It's bisexual.
He was shipped with Bunny.
Shipping
What?
I have a friend who will get a kick out of that.
He was also shipped with Pitch.
Or is he shipped with Tooth? Because I actually have a picture.
A lot of people automatically assumed that Jack and Tooth were a couple, but I don't know why they didn't kiss.
Honestly, I think Jack and Tooth don't have a ton of chemistry, honestly.
Yeah, that's the main reason why people don't ship them.
Maybe they're friends.
I see Tooth as more of a mother figure to Jack than like a relationship.
Honestly, I don't really see Tooth being like a girlfriend for like. There's a million reasons why not. Number one being she's like a fairy thing, but also like I think Jack works better as kind of his own thing, not really in a relationship.
But like I said, I see more Jack and Tooth's relationship as like a mother and son, in my opinion.
I thought they were just.
I just think it's good friends. I just think it's like close friends.
Yeah, I thought they were just friends.
It could be a mother and son though.
Anything's possible, but like I said, Jack, it's like Jelsa versus Jakunzel. It was really big in like 2014 to like 2016. There are so many videos of Jack and Elsa together. I can't even.
And then people started shipping Elsa with Spider-Man.
Better than the one slings. Because
Elsa, there are Elsa ships. There's actually Elsa ship with Pitch.
There's also Elsa and Spider-Man.
Right, Elsa.
Yeah. Oh, don't talk about those videos, please! For the love of God, don't talk about those videos.
But I am still a part of the Rise of the Brave Kingdom.
Cut this entire section out. This is getting weird.
It has dwindled down a little bit. You don't really see that many people talk about that anymore. But there's a lot of parody spoof videos. I even made like 3 spoof videos using the characters. I also made like this video using the characters singing to Buffy the Vampire Slayer with one of the musical songs from the musical episode. And
a video of that.
No, I don't want to upload to YouTube because of copyright issues.
No, you sent it to me though. I remember seeing it.
Right, because Elsa was Buffy and Jack was Spike and Stoke was Giles and Hiccup was the boy. I can't remember his name. I haven't watched Buffy in a while.
Character.
Rapunzel was Willow, and you get the point.
Sure, talk about Jack's character more.
I know, I'm sorry. But I was about to say, I can see what people put him and Hiccup, Merida, Rapunzel together. I can see them actually being friends. I don't know about you. I can actually see all 4 of them being friends.
I could see Anna trying to make Hiccup come out of his shell a little more.
Yeah, and I can see Elsa and Jack. I know a lot of people ship Elsa and Jack a lot, mainly because they have the same powers or whatever. But
ice, baby.
Oh, I wonder if Todoroki would meet them. Like Todoroki would.
Hey, I don't think the fans are ever going to understand the definition of just friends.
Well, to be fair, there are characters
we're all
that have
basically horny. You know that?
Right.
Well, but anyways, so yeah, I freaking love Jack. He's very mischievous, but he also does care about, he wants to be seen so bad. He's been alone for over 300 years. And
well, what's funny? He doesn't even want to be with the people who can actually see him. It's very ironic.
Well, he just wants to keep, living out his days, causing a little trouble, making a little fun, throwing snowballs at the bullies.
Does he also want to have
his sister's fun. So, I mean, I like how he develops overall in the movie. It's just really great. I think I don't know. Do I like him as a brunette or do I like him as a white hair? Blue eyes.
Hard to pick between brunette and albino.
I kind of like him as an albino. I like it. I like him white skinned.
I think albino.
I like him frosty.
Frosty the Snowman.
Okay. I think are we done? Have we covered everything?
Final thoughts on the movie.
You guys go first. I have something big coming.
I'll go first. I think Rise of the Guardian, this isn't my favorite movie of all time. I'm not going to pretend it is.
It's my favorite DreamWorks movie.
I like this movie a lot, though. I really love it. When we get to the ratings, I'll be giving it a high vote. I think the lesson of, a little fun and trickery can not only be a good thing, but can be a thing that saves lives, is a great story. Very Seussical in nature. And it's just really great to see all of these characters interact off each other and have such distinct personalities. Let's face it, anytime you get an Avengers level team of crossovers, it's gonna be cool. I wish this had a sequel. I want this to get a sequel.
Or a TV series.
Or a TV series.
I want it to just continue. It's wonderful.
The DreamWorks pretend that doesn't exist.
What's the rating? What do you give it? 1 out of 10. 1 through 10.
Well, we're not ready for ratings yet because we give our ratings after the merch spotlight, which Cher will be doing today. But Calum, what are your final thoughts?
Yes.
Out of all the DreamWorks movies, I would not consider this my top favorite, much to what Sherry would say. But if I were to place it between my number 1 and my number 10, I'd probably, maybe I'll make a video on this, somewhere between 10 and 8, somewhere there, somewhere in the top 10, somewhere.
Okay, it's my turn, is it?
Yes, your turn.
Yeah, go ahead.
Yeah, like you guys, I agree. It's not my favorite DreamWorks or animated movie ever. It's no Prince of Egypt. It's no Akira. It's no a great monument of animation. But it is a great movie. It is honestly a perfect holiday. It's like a celebration of all the holidays coming together, one big celebration of all the holidays coming together to face the darkness of evil. It's a really good way of doing it. Even though DreamWorks never gave a shit about it, they still put effort into it. The people who worked on it, not the people who are advertising it, or Jeffrey Katzenberg. I don't think he put any effort into caring about it because I don't like him at all. So between 1 and 10, I probably put an 8, maybe. But my number 1 is still Prince of Egypt.
Yes, mine too.
I really like Kung Fu Panda.
Yeah, Kung Fu Panda. I still say that's better than Avatar: Last Airbender. Yeah, I said it.
You're wrong, but okay. Cher, I think it's your turn now, dearest.
DreamWorks merchandising.
Not yet. I have to talk about
Yes, to give her final thoughts.
Yes, I have to talk about my final thoughts that I did not just type up an hour ago.
Yeah. Here we go.
Why do I love Rise of the Guardians? And by the way, I'm reading this off of my little Google Docs right here, so be warned. Why do I love Rise of the Guardians? It's definitely the message of the movie. To believe. As children, we have this exorbitant amount of imagination to make believe anything we want based on viewpoints of life. We were told about these holiday mythical creatures, Santa, Easter Bunny, Tooth, all of them. For me, it was all the creatures and holiday figures from Cupid and Santa. At one point, I always associated Jack Frost as the villain, mainly because of Santa Claus 3 and other depictions of him. But when I saw this movie, it just changed my way. When we grow up, we hit reality, and the magic and belief that we once had as kids it's all gone, and thus we kind of stop, believing these figures anymore. And at the time of this movie's release, I was on the bridge of believing and not believing in these people and these like holiday figures. I wanted to believe, but everyone kept telling me, "No, Santa Claus is not real. You're just a little baby. Easter Bunny isn't real."
Oh, shut up, you little brats!
And I'm sorry, I'm about to get really emotional here because this movie has like changed me like really much, and I still believe in them, but I know they're not real. But it's also not just about believing. It's about the importance of life itself. The centers that all the Guardians have throughout the movie, those centers are basically the most important parts of life. Wonder is everywhere, especially when we were kids, because it was grand, it was colossal, and when we see things for the first time, we have wonder in our eyes, and we stare in awe at the gorgeous moments of life. And when we feel down and we want to give up, we need to have hope. Life isn't always sunshines and rainbows. And
I
it can
know
be
that
tough.
because I lived through a year of hell.
And it can be tough. And it's important to have support from friends and family who have faith in you, who are able to help you accomplish with your goals. In dreams, we use our imagination to come up with solutions to problems or even create stories and ideas in our head that can be beneficial for the real world. Memories are crucial because whether if it's good or bad, we need to cherish those memories of the good and learn from the bad ones. Life is short, guys, and we need to hold on to these memories as long as possible. Hell, even pitch black, fear. Fear is important because you were born with four emotions: happiness, sadness, anger, and fear. Inside out. But anyways, fear is helps us make us more human, and it's how you deal with that fear that determines whether you succeed or not. And fun is one of the most important part of life, because again, life is not, all sunshines and rainbows. It's really hard, and you have to work really hard to be successful, but you also need to take time for yourself to go out and meet new people, go out and just have some fun, let loose, be yourself. And that's the main reason why I love Rise of the Guardians. It teaches you the important things in life. It makes you appreciate the things you have while finding ways to help others who are in need and guidance. And kind of like what Jack said with Jamie, they're always going to be there when you need them. You just have to believe in yourself and believe in everyone, and believe in others as well. And this movie has changed my life. It helped me discover and appreciate my purpose in life. The centers of each garden helped me, and they will continue to help me to fulfill my hopes and dreams. And I hope this movie has made all you guys realize the importance of life, and something will eventually spark within you to become someone that you always wanted to be. And I know we talked about this corny ending line with Jack Frost, but when the moon tells you something, believe it. And that's.
But I have one thing to. Sorry, I have one thing to say. One thing to say.
Go ahead, Rex.
That you with Rise of the Guardians was me with My Hero Academia. I found my purpose. I found what I always had my purpose. I knew what I wanted to be, but My Hero Academia was like me. I found that, like, I found myself in that story, and I found out that is my purpose. That is my destiny, and that is something that I should clench onto. Something that I should, just keep to my heart, and something that I should always strive towards. Something that I should always never give up and never cease in. Never even when all the pain I've suffered in my life, I just need to continue on.
If I can be so bold, Cher, while you were speaking just now, you made me realize something about Guardians that I don't think I realized before, but it is true. And it honestly plays with something that a lot of my favorite movies play with. Muppets plays with this. Peter Pan plays with this. And I think what it is the mind
adulthood.
Of a child. No, it's showing how important, everything, all of those cores are part of your childhood. And the memory of your childhood is so important. Don't let that child in you go. Don't let that child in you pass on, because if you keep them a part of you, you will have access to this creativity, this mindset that unfortunately a lot of people choose to lose. And this movie really works on that logic and really pushes that message of don't underestimate the mind of a child, because that belief in Santa, that belief in the Tooth Fairy, it's something magical in and of itself. And I absolutely agree with you. This movie has a great message and much more powerful than I was giving it credit for.
I really wish this movie is just given another chance. It's not perfect. Am I saying this is perfect? No. It's not perfect. It's not the best DreamWorks movie. Hell no. But it's my favorite DreamWorks movie because it just sparked something within me. I was seriously on the crossroads of believing and not believing, and this movie made me believe again. Not in just like the Guardians, it made me believe in myself. Because I was going through a tough time. I always assumed that, oh, she's just a perky Disney fanatic. She doesn't know anything. She's just too happy, and that's not true. And I always had to kept proving myself that I'm more than just a Disney fanatic. I have layers. We all have layers.
Oh, you ogres have layers. Onions have layers.
You are a beautiful book filled of pages of bright colors that are different but come together in a beautiful Arbor Borealis.
Damn, I wish I came up with that, and you're a beautiful poet.
Thank
Exactly. That's why
You're a beautiful
I
poet.
love this movie. It's not just about the believing in things. It's just pretty much about the importance in life. And in a way, we're all guardians. All of us are guardians. All of us have centers. All of us have these we all have the Russian nesting dolls. We all have them.
layers.
We have
This
layers.
is why I talk about personality. This is why I talk about the MBTI, to find the center of your personality. Yeah.
One would think that one joke in Shrek wouldn't be so applicable to this, but yeah, the whole Russian nesting doll, the whole story of that is, yeah, we have layers. We have different pieces that make us a whole. And it's wonderful. This is a great movie. And with that, I think it is time to move forward, because for the first time ever, ladies and gentlemen, it is time for Sharice's merch spotlight. I tried to do the horn thing.
There you go.
You're a lot better at it than I am.
So we have been talking about, well, instead of we, I say me. I've been talking a lot about how this movie is based off of the book series called Guardians of Childhood. And so I actually have 3 picture books right here. I have 3 picture books. But there's also like the chapter book series. It starts off with North, and then it goes on and on with the others. I think, oh, shoot, I totally forgot what each title of the books are. I'm searching it up right now as we speak.
Goes on and on and on and on.
Okay, so yeah, like I said, there's picture books for Man and Moon, Sandman, and Jack Frost, which I have. And there's also the novels, the chapter books. So the first one is Nicholas St. North in the Battle of the Nightmare King. There's E. Aster Bunnymung and the Warrior Egg at the Earth's Core. Toothiana, Queen of the Tooth Fairy Armies. The Sandman and the War of Dreams. And then the final one, Jack Frost, and the end becomes the beginning. Those are pretty much all the books. Of course, there's also like the movie tied-in books. But yeah, it's pretty much the picture books, which I have right here, and the novels. That's all I really have. It would have been nice if there was a Funko Pop of Rise of the Guardian, because I would totally buy them.
I would buy that for you.
I'd buy it too.
I would get you the presents, my dear.
I don't have the novels, and I've been begging my mom to get me the novels, but she got me the picture books instead, which are good too. But I really wanted the novels.
I want a statue of North, because my God, that is the most badass Santa ever. and I want him holding his swords on my shelf.
But yeah, that's pretty much Rise of the Guardians. How would you guys rate it? Because you guys already know how I would rate it.
Once again, I would like to remind everybody our rating system is 1 to 10. 10 being this is best. This is whenever you're recommending something of this genre, this is where you will turn to. 1 being this is terrible. It hurt you in ways you can't describe, and you need to tell the world about it.
Hey, we're not talking about Captain Marvel.
I gave her a 3, I think.
Okay, can I go first?
Sure.
Sure.
I give this 0.0000000. I'm just kidding. I give this an 8.
0 out of 10 isn't really a rating.
I was just joking. I'm just
Cher
joking.
just lifts up a gun.
I was just joking. Like Jack Frost said, sometimes trickery and fun can be great in life, right?
Yeah.
We'll give your actual rating.
I did 8 out of 10. 8 out of 10.
Okay, good. I will accept that.
Yeah. 8 out of 10.
Callum, what is your rating? Callum, you're next.
Same as Brooks.
Oh,
yes, I know it. 8 out of 10. Same as Brooks, yes.
I'm going to go a little lower. I'm going to give a 7.5 out of 10.
Okay.
Just because I really like the movie. I think it's great. But the reason I'm not going to go full 8 is because I do think there was room to room to improve. That being said, though, it's definitely above average, and 6 is above average.
For Sharice, you have to be objective and subjective. First you're subjective, and then you're objective.
If she wants to give it a 10 out of 10, she can give it a 10 out of 10.
So that's why she should be objective and then subjective. Like, subjectively, she should be 10 out of 10,
you put your personality out there. You don't be subjective at all. You put your emotions into this ranking.
You did. Well, Neil technically gave the first Captain America a 10 out of 10. So.
I did.
Wow.
Well, but like I said, for me, I really love this movie to death. I really want a sequel or a TV series. Come on, DreamWorks, if you were able to give freaking Boss Baby and freaking Trolls and all the other ones except
Boss Babies is getting a sequel.
There's so
I'm so glad you don't like Trolls. I'm so glad because that's a movie for babies.
I like Trolls.
I mean, I like the songs in Trolls. I just don't like the movie.
I like Trolls alright. I think it's okay.
But seriously, even Spirit, you got Spirit, the movie that came out in 2002, a TV series, but even though it's more girl centric, but still, Spirit.
At least they're paying attention to their early movies now. Spirit's a good movie as well.
Well, I wonder if they're gonna do a Prince of Egypt story series.
They're not, but we're not here for that. We are here for the wonderful Guardians. And Sharice, my lady, what is your ranking?
I will say this movie is not perfect. In no way, shape, or form. It is not a perfect movie. It's a magical movie. That's what it is. I do know there are some problems with it, so I'm not giving it a 10 out of 10, but I will give it a 9.
Okay, 9.
I would have let you give it a 10 if you wanted to, but I will accept your 9.
No, she can't. It's not perfect. Just let her,
Well, let's add up the scores. So we got 2 8s, that's 16, plus 9 would be
25.
That would be 25, you're right. Plus 7.5 would be
32.5 out of 40.
Yeah, so I think that's a pretty fair ranking.
Do math.
Yeah.
You can do math. You are smarter than the Kneale.
Well,
okay.
I guess we should all say happy holidays to you guys.
Happy holidays.
Merry Christmas, happy holidays.
Merry Christmas to all, and to all a good night.
Merry Christmas, little ankle biter.
Merry Christmas.
Remember, guys, when the moon tells you something.
You believe
it. It sounds, believe it.
Anyways, the moon is telling me to shove cheese into my stocking this year for Christmas. Goodbye, everybody.
Wallace from Wallace and Gromit?
We'll see you guys later for Disney Investor Day. Disney Investor Day is coming up for us for the video. See you guys for Disney
Investor Day is
Bye.
Bye.
Go
Believe,
on, Jedi, you have teamwork.
You just gotta believe.
I believe,
Everyone knows.
I believe that everybody knows a Connor!
Callum, cut the feed.
Cut the feed. Cut the feed.
I shall play into your fears.
Callum, I gotta go to a
Don't
Christmas
stop
party.
believing.
I am 30 minutes old. I can go to a virtual Christmas
Yeah,
party.
I think that.
Just leave,
Yeah, I was
Sharon,
actually worried
leave.
about that.
Just
So,
leave.
so,
Three,
Therese, you go to your party
two,
now. Let's end this. Come on.